Significant.
Significant. Welcome to Significant Life, the podcast for women who want to live, lead, and serve from an anchored place. I'm your host, Janice Anderson, wife, mother of three, CEO, and lover of all things Jesus. I firmly believe that strong women need an even stronger support system. So whether you need to get it done or come undone, this is a place where you can do it all without second guessing who you are, disconnecting from those you love, or undervaluing your irreplaceable contribution to the world. Regardless of what you're facing, this I know for sure. You were created to live and enjoy a significant life. Let's dive into today's episode. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Significant Life Podcast. I am your host, Janice Anderson, and I am so excited about today's session. Y'all, I know y'all have been enjoying this Relationship Matters series. How do I know that? Because y'all have been letting me know that you're enjoying it. It has been such a pleasure of mine to talk about this topic for a number of reasons, but namely because I was talking to today's guest, and one of the things that one of the pressures we put on ourselves as women is to master every area of life without being trained in every area of life. How are you going to master something you've never been trained in? But because by nature we are women and we are born nurturers, there's this assumption that we are automatically good at relationships. And so I created this series to, one, dispel the myth that you're going to have relationships all together. You're going to have a relationship, but that it's going to be all together, all perfect, all healthy, all what it needs to be just automatically. I want to dispel that myth right away. I wanted to take the pressure off of us as women to do everything well the first time or the 12th time. And then I want to make sure that we're equipped with some skills and techniques and tools and new perspectives on how to show up in those relationships that make us who we are and that guide and influence how we show up in life. So our guest today, y'all, I love her so much. I met our guest in somewhere between 2009 and 2011. And I was in a room full of powerful women, and she was in the room. And from the moment I met her then until now, she's always been a life giver. She's always been welcoming. What she doesn't know, and I'll share this about her too with her when she gets on screen. What she doesn't know is she made an impact from the first day I met her. And it was a positive impact in my life. And I've always admired her from afar. But now she's like in my circle. She's in my circle. So I can't wait to talk to her. Get your pen, get your paper. If you want to know how to maximize relationships in a corporate environment, and then take what you learn in those environments and use them in your life, or how you can allow those environments to inform how you show up in your regular everyday life, you want to tune into this episode. So please welcome with me my guest, the one who's going to get our whole life together when it comes to these relationships in corporations and in life, the one, the only, Pat E. Perkins. Hey, Pat.
Hey, Janice. Thank you so much for having me on your platform. I'm honored. I really am.
I am honored to have you here today. I'm so excited about what is going on. We have been in the middle of a Relationship Matters series here on the podcast as we're leading up to our conversation, which you are going to be joining us for in our masterclass held on April 30th. If you haven't registered for the masterclass class, what are you waiting on? Do it now. The information will be on the screen, and I'll tell you more about it throughout this podcast. But before we do that, whether you're coming to the masterclass or not, I wanted to just talk to Pat today about relationships in the workplace and how we take the skills, the talents, the abilities that we learn in the workplace for cultivating healthy relationships in the workplace and leverage them in our own lives. Pat, before we get to that, tell the people about you. Tell them who you are, please. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. So I am known as the career advancement coach. And what I do and what I love is really helping diverse leaders, primarily those in technology and STEM, to advance in their career further, faster, and be divinely compensated for their contribution. So that's really what I do. So when it comes to the roadmap for career advancement, and when it comes to the blueprint for designing the compensation plan that lights up your whole life, that's why I'm here on the planet. I know.
Listen, we just need to talk just on that, but that's not what the topic of today's conversation. We'll bring you back on to talk about how we get divinely compensated. Girl, thank you. I love that. And Pat, so because that sounds really great, but it was amazing what you shared. I want you to go a little bit further. Can you just share a little bit about some of the clients that you work with and some of the results you were able to get for those clients, so we can just put in perspective what working with a woman like you could do for a person's career?
Sure, absolutely. So I'm going to just share with you a little bit about my background. I come from the corporate world. I invested 20 years in corporate, working for Fortune 100 organizations, working in their headquarters in a project management role. So I'm a certified project manager. I've led projects anywhere from $1 million to 150 million plus in the United States and abroad. So being able to create structures and systems for fulfillment is not new to me. It's true to me. And about 17 years ago, I transitioned into the professional and personal development space because I really felt like I was leading those project managers that I adored. But what they really needed was internal transformation. They really needed to understand what it looked like to communicate properly and well, and to lead sponsors, to lead programs, right? To lead champions of programs, to present well, to communicate well, to have executive presence, all of those things that we think are soft skills, but they really aren't. These are the ones that actually make the difference, that make the impact in your career. And so for the last 15 years, I have delivered over 5,000 coaching sessions to over 500 leaders who are anywhere from senior manager to senior executive in organizations, really getting them to the next level, but not just so that they have to have the title, but just so they have the bag as well.
I love that. Man, that's amazing. Y'all, listen, Pat is the bomb. Pat, one thing you just said that I love that you said, and I want to just call out, you said you help to bring the soft skills to the forefront, because we named them soft, and you did a gesture. Those who aren't here watching, you don't know, but she made a gesture because we kind of minimize soft skills. But you said that's the key. They're necessary skills. And so soft skills are significant skills, and those are the things that will move us forward. And so I thank you for pointing that out, because I think sometimes we bypass that when we're looking at what we bring to the table and who we are, and developing those things. So soft skills are skills. Can we go ahead and just say that? Soft skills are skills nonetheless. And what do we do with skills? We learn them, we sharpen them, we refine them, we give them a name, and we honor them. So thank you, Pat, for that. You just opened up so much for me just on that. Okay. So as we get ready to do this, here's where I want to start. I want to start with, I want to go a little bit further into this idea of the importance not only of you having the skills, but of you knowing how to leverage those skills in relationships with others. So when you're helping someone on a corporate level to go to that next place, what are some of the things that you are looking for? What are some of the things that are key to you when helping them to advance?
Absolutely. So my methodology is based on 3 pillars. And so I look at awareness, advocacy, and action. And as I'm vetting opportunities for individuals to work with me, there has to be a willingness to focus on their awareness, their personal awareness first, advocacy, their personal self-advocacy first, and then action. What are you willing to do? Are you really willing to take the actions that are going to move you forward? And without those, I could actually say no to someone, because if you're not willing to do that, then you're not really willing and ready to to really advance in your career. It's your career. You need to own it, navigate it, and take on the necessary skills to fulfill on that.
Can we just go ahead and take this framework and apply this to our lives right now? Because I'm over here. Y'all probably looking, what is Janice doing? I'm taking notes. This is so good. So even in our careers, you said first there needs to be an awareness. So look, ladies, look not just at your career, but at your life. There has to be an awareness. We need to awaken ourselves to what is going on with us and what's going on around us and call it what it is. Awareness is just not, oh, my eyes are open. No, awareness is, I see this and this is what that is. That's number one. Secondly, she said there needs to be advocacy, but you have to advocate for yourself. Pat, please tell us, explain to those of us who aren't in corporate environments. So we've heard the word and we're thinking power to the people, go fight. What does advocacy really mean?
So advocacy means that you have a certain level of not only care and compassion for yourself, but you have a certain level of consideration for what you actually want. So when you're advocating for yourself, you create that clarity of what you want, how you're going to care for yourself and have compassion for yourself to get it, and how you're going to do that on a consistent basis. Because if not, advocacy is fleeting. It's not something that really is going to matter in the long term. So that's what I say advocacy is. And at the end of the day, advocacy is leverage. That's really what it is. One word, leverage.
Ma'am. Okay. So y'all, let me tell y'all. So this is what I heard. This is what I heard that Pat said to us about advocacy. When we are embracing this role of a personal advocate for me, I'm showing up for me. I need 4 ingredients. This is what Pat is telling us. She said, 1, we need clarity. We need to know what it is. What do we want? What is good for me? I need to get clear on that. Number 2, I have to have care. I need to be caring and concerned about me. Ladies, can you just stop right there? When was the last time you were concerned about you? I'm waiting on purpose. When was the last time that you took and you initiated some concern for you? I love that. The third thing she said, and then she said compassion. I literally was having a conversation before we hopped on our call today about having self-compassion with my sister. My sister is, I have several sisters, but this is my youngest sister. She's 26. And today is my nephew's birthday. He turned 6. And happy birthday, Gabe. And so we were talking about his gift and what she wanted to get him. And I thought it was a bit much. And so we were talking through why I thought it was a bit much and what she's opening the door for. She was so receptive. And she said to me, she said, Trell, that's my nickname. She said, but I know talking to you is helping me because I have this guilt that I'm not with his dad. And because his dad is not here, and he's not growing up in a home with a mom and a dad, I feel like I should do these things. And he's such a good kid. And I told, and then so the thing that they were promising, he turned 6 today, and they wanted to get, somebody said, we're not going to name the somebody, that they were getting a cell phone. Hello, you're 6. We're not getting a cell phone. And so not only was she trying to get a cell phone, not a little Cricket, like an iPhone. So I said, well, we're not going to do that. And here's why we're not going to do that. And I'm talking through what I'm navigating with my 13-year-old who has a cell phone. And my 13-year-old, this is what we're navigating through. And she's 13. Surely a 6-year-old doesn't have the mental capacity to handle the responsibility of a cell phone. Okay. Track with me, ladies. I'm going somewhere with this. So as I'm talking to her, I said, what we can say to him is, I know this was promised to you, and that really wasn't a good promise for us to have right now. But when you're a teenager, you can have a phone. Instead, we'll have this. And she said this was the statement. She said, oh, that's so good. I should have said that weeks ago. And I said, stop right there. I said, you didn't know that weeks ago. You just found that out today. And so since you found that out today, you're now reframing how you show up today. And what I said to her is, as moms and as women, we have to have more compassion on ourselves. And one of the things that I've learned as a mother, and I've shared this with my daughters, is at every stage of my life, I'm giving you the best that I have. I am not withholding anything from who I am, of who I am from you. That is my promise to you. But if this is the best I have today, this is the best I have today. Now, tomorrow I might learn something because I'm committed to continuing to grow and to become better. And so what I say tomorrow, what I offer you in 10 years may be far better than what I offer you today, because this is the best of who I am today. And so, ladies, when we have compassion on ourselves, we know if we can do the first couple of things that Pat recommended us to do, we get clear on what it is that we need and we want, and we can show ourselves concern and care, and then lace that, undergird it with compassion, because we're not perfect, we're human. So I love that. I wanted to harp on that a bit because I think that's something we lack. I think there's this built-in expectation that because we're women, and because whatever the role is, Pat, you project manager, and having all these years of success working for other companies that are doing the doggone thing, the pressure that we put on ourselves is to get it all right every time. And when we don't, not if we don't, when we don't, if we are not rooted in compassion, self-compassion, we'll be really, really hard on ourselves. So thank you for bringing that out. Was there something you wanted to say?
Sure. And then the consistency with all of that.
Yes, that was the fourth one, consistency. Yes.
The consistency. Because, you can make it as simple as possible. You think about any aspect of your life. If you don't consistently brush your teeth, if you don't consistently get your oil changed in your car, if you don't consistently love on the people in your life, it's fleeting. And it's not it is a what have you done lately in your care and your compassion, because it goes away. It's like working out. We still have to consistently do something to keep ourselves fit and to keep ourselves functioning. And that's a part of it for sure. Advocacy, self-advocacy.
I love that. So my question, ladies, coaching question for the ladies based on Pat. Thank you, Pat E. Perkins, #stolen. We're using this. What have you done for yourself lately to keep you fit and functioning? I'm just going to let you sit with that. And we're going to go on to the next thought. All right. So then Pat gave us, I know that messed me up a little bit, but it's all good. It's all good. So thank you, Pat, for this with personal advocacy. And then the third thing you said was action. So after we have the awareness, then we have advocacy, then we take action. Now, what I love about this is, can I say this? All action ain't created equally.
Say that again for the people in the back. Yeah,
let me tell you that. All action is not created equally. It's not. So that's why we have people like Pat on the platform and joining us today, because she's going to help us with the right action. So it's not just you do something. And I know we have this mantra, just do something, just get it done. But it's not all action. It's the right action. So Pat, as it relates to relationships and cultivating the right relationships and moving our lives forward in our career, in our career and our personal life, you have identified 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 doggone roles. 9 roles, 9 must-have people. What should our squad look like? I just want you to tell us, give me squad goals according to Pat, and I want you to run us through this list, saying what it looks like in a corporate environment, and then we're going to use these same things in business, and our personal environment. And I'll be taking notes and we can dialogue afterwards. Go ahead.
Sure, absolutely. So as you know, Janice, my initials are PEP, right? So it's your PEP squad, right? It is your PEP squad. These are the people who are rallying for you. These are individuals who are championing you. They're cheerleading you. So it's all under that premise to really support you. You have to be inspired. You have to be motivated. This is the long game. So this list that I have, and it's not, necessarily exhaustive. There may be more, but I'm just going to start with This is all under the umbrella of advocates in general, right? Advocates and advocacy. So first is you. You are at the top of the at the front of the table, head of the table. You are the table, right? You are you. It's you first. And then as we think about, well, who else do I need? Well, I need role models. It's one of the first things that we have actually from birth. We have role models, whether you have siblings, you have family members, but you have role models, right? From there, you actually have, when you think about it from the corporate perspective, you have your mentor and your sponsor. And if you come on the 30th, we're going to break down, if Janice gives me permission to do this, we're going to break down the whole distinction between those, because I think we have those collapsed and they really do serve different roles. So your mentor and your sponsor. And then we have allies. Allies are different. And this one I will say, because there's been a whole lot of talk about allies, but allies will literally take an action that is going to propel you for no reciprocity at all. Period.
Stop. You done messed me up. I would, doggone it, Pat E. Perkins. Do you hear me? Pat, can you say that one more time? Let's just, because many of us think we have allies, and we are allies, but we miss this distinction. Allies will do what? They will take an action for what?
They will take an action, right, for you to shine, to thrive, to elevate you with no reciprocity, no expectation of having you do that for them in return. That's a true ally.
We're just going to sit this right here for a minute. I want everybody to take a deep breath. And I want you to first ask yourself, do I have any allies in my life? And then the second question I want you to reflect on is, who are my allies? And the reason why I want us to just kind of linger there a minute is because for many of us, we are allies. We will show up. We will do what we got to do. Girl, what you need me to do, I'm here for you. Just let me know, just name the place and the time. And when it comes to us having allies, I know some of us are about, ain't nobody there for me, but do you allow people to be there for you? When was the last time you allowed someone to do something for you and you didn't put the pressure on yourself to do something in return for them? I know my own issue was I always felt like I owed people after they did something for me. I was so nervous. Like if they did, like you showed up for me, but I guess I better do this. What is the gift that I need to send? And I'm not saying take people for granted. I'm not saying that, but I was, I was in my mind feeling like I need to keep a record of every time they came through for me, because if they call me, I need to come through for them, even if I really can't. And go ahead, Pat, go ahead. I see.
And here's what's so interesting is, a true ally isn't waiting for you to do anything for them. They're getting what they need from higher sources, different sources, other sources. They have allies for themselves. So they're not waiting on you. They might not even be thinking about you because their space for what they have to create in the world is already full. They're full. They don't need what you have, and they may be appreciative, but I was the same way. Janice, I tell you, ally for so many people, didn't even really realize that that's the role I was serving in. But I've actually said, and I'm not on my watch anymore with anyone, and definitely not myself, I can't even allow you to do that for me. Oh, I'm receiving everything now. I'm in a receiving mode, and I can't even share with you some of the things that people have just put into my lap and share with me and given me. And I don't know, this is on me. This is fine. No, I got you. No, I don't need anything.
How do you You done messed me up. You done messed me up right here. Because I mean, I'm low key getting healed and delivered over here. Let me tell you why. Because I'm like, Pat. Pat has just given language to a season that I find myself entering into. And I am trying to navigate it without sabotaging it. And Pat, I just want to say thank you for that. And then I want to ask you this question for the audience, because I'm sure I'm not the only person that has this thought. So how do you identify who is an ally?
So allies are everywhere, but I want to say this before I answer that question. One thing you have to give up. So to gain something, there's oftentimes the other side of that, of what are you going to give up? You have to give up thinking that you're a taker. Mm. We're not takers as women. We're receivers. Mm. So standing in the space of being on a receiving end, that's a place of femininity. That's a place of where God wants us to be. That's a place where we get to be poured into. So when we really take that on, it's spiritual. Mm. And it really needs to know how significant that is, right? So first, for people to want to, because you're going to attract that kind of energy. You're going to attract that kind of person. And so standing in that first, how you identify an ally is oftentimes they gravitate to you. Mm. It's the person who says to you, how can I support you? Mm. Or I know someone who I think, you know what, let me make that introduction for you. Mm-hmm. Or, have you considered this? Or, hey, you know what? I'm just going to drop something off at your house for you. Don't worry about it. I got you. Or someone just shows up. That's when you can just put them in the ally bucket. They may serve multiple roles in your professional board of advocacy. I see you over there.
She done jacked me up, y'all. I'm straight crying. I just want y'all to know, for those who are listening, I am tore up right now.
And you may never know who your ally is. Because they are doing things behind the scenes for you, taking actions behind the scenes for you. That's literally how my business actually blew up in a good way in my first 2 years in business, because I had people making connections, referring business to me, doing things behind the scenes, taking actions, making connections that I didn't even know. And I got phone calls that said, oh, so-and-so said I should call you because we've got this contract and they think you would be ideal for this. How do you repay somebody for that? You can't. So stop trying. I'm gonna stop here.
Listen, you just freed me. You just opened my eyes to so much. You just put so many things in perspective just by explaining that, because I can think of the times when people were trying to show up for me, but I didn't want to be perceived as a taker. And because the label that I had placed on me receiving was I'm taking, I either sabotaged it or worked myself in a frenzy over it. And I just didn't allow myself to just receive it and enjoy it. And so I just thank you for that. And I thank you for sharing that. Thank you for that distinction. I thank you for, just flowing in that. And this is so good. And I know on the 30th, I definitely want to, we're going to go a little bit deeper in this topic, simply because, folks don't just be showing up for folks just because, when you nasty, ain't nobody want to show up for you. You know what I'm saying? And when you're not doing anything that is worth showing up for, like, I had the people who have shown up for me to support me, the things that they've said on the other side of it, it was like they saw me and they saw the value of what I'm doing. They saw the value the way that I saw the value, or maybe they even saw greater value in it. And some of us are sitting on the sidelines waiting to create something instead of just showing up. And because there is great value just in you showing up, and watch the allies appear. So just thank you for that, Pat. That was amazing.
Can Can I say this before we go on? Because this is something that I wrote. I wrote this because I was looking for a different, and we talked about leverage, or we said the word leverage, which is the key component to this. But one of the things I wrote, I'm just going to read what I wrote because I think it's just that significant, right? So you want to think about also individuals, advocates in that holistic way who show up from a contrarian perspective based on aligned values. So when you said the word value, that reminded me of what I wrote. And oftentimes the word contrarian gets a negative rap or connotation, but really what was downloaded to me was it takes courage and a counterintuitive thinking around sound reasons and wisdom. So if someone's contrarian, and Janice, we're in our circle, I'll call it, right? We have aligned values. We even have aligned goals in many cases. But what we give ourselves permission to do is have contrarian perspectives, counterintuitive thinking. Because how do we grow and expand if we're not ever willing to hear and receive something that might be contrarian to what we were thinking? It's an aha moment waiting to happen.
That's so good. That's so good. Because everybody don't need to think like you in order to be aligned with you. That's what I hear you saying. So, and I need you not to think like me so that you can offer me a possibility I've never considered.
Right.
And so I think that
did.
Yes.
You did that today when your example, you were saying, I should have used this a couple weeks. Well, you just got this contrarian view. You just got this new perspective today.
I love it.
So yeah, I think oftentimes we think in a circle, I think about, I know this is on the life side, but I think about my besties. I have several best friends. I am so blessed to have several best friends. And when I say best friends, I mean, for real, right? We call them ride or fly because we're not dying, but ride or fly friends. We're going to fly anywhere, everywhere. And we're going to be fly when we do it. But we don't all think alike. We can't think alike. The beauty, the secret sauce to our best friend sisterhood is that we don't think alike on a lot of things. And we're able to we even have conversations where it's like, I'm thinking this way. I want to hear your thoughts on this. What would you do about this? And if you just have people saying, oh yeah, I would do it that way. Oh yeah, that makes sense to me. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that's right. Get out my life. Get out my life.
Not get out your life, Pat. Get out your whole life. Oh,
get out my whole life. Get out my whole life. I can't with you.
I love that. That's so good. That's so rich, though. And it requires a level of maturity to be able to embrace that and to know that because we think differently, just because we think differently doesn't mean that I'm opposed to you. I think contrarian has had the perception or connotation as opposition. And now you telling me this, I'm gonna have to go and give my husband a hug and apologize because let me tell you something, Mr. Man Show always having a contrarian perspective. And when I'm not in my feelings and I could really hear the perspective, it adds a richness to my life and a color to my existence. It just kind of highlights and amplifies, and it stretches me. If I'm honest, it stretches me. And
it's his love language personified.
It is, girl. But I gotta, I be needing a minute because I be like, why can't you just support me? Negroette, he is supporting you. Are you listening? No, I'm not. So this is so good. Okay, well, y'all can tell this is a rich conversation and Pat and I could go on and on. I want you to give us the rest of the Pep Squad and then I'm going to put a bow around our conversation. And ladies, if you haven't already seen the value in just this exchange between Pat and I and why it's necessary that we sharpen these skills as it relates to relationships, I don't know what's going on. Open your eyes, open your heart, pause and rewatch this or replay. And then make the decision to join us for the masterclass. I'm going to put on the screen really quickly the flyer for the masterclass, just so you can see where you register. I want you to go ahead and plan on joining us on what day are we doing this? We're doing this on April 30th here, and you can do it from the comfort of your home. You can do it from the comfort of, I told y'all not to do it in your car because you're going to need to take some copious notes. But you can join us wherever you are, wherever in the world you are. This is going to be an amazing experience. And Pat is one of the speakers for our Significant Life Masterclass. If you're not watching us on Zoom, where are we? Not on Zoom. If you're not watching us on YouTube, but you're listening to us, you can go over to mysignificantlife.org/masterclass and register, reserve your spot, and bring a girlfriend. So for every one registration, you get to bring a girlfriend for free. So y'all can split the registration if you want to, but register. And once you register, then you can bring a girlfriend for free. But y'all don't want to miss this. Pat is one of 3 amazing speakers who will be joining us that day. And during that time, what we'll be discussing is how to create and cultivate life-giving relationships that are not parasitical, the relationships that are going to move us forward, relationships that are going to enrich our lives and help us to live this life we were designed to live. And we can't do it alone. If you're coming late to the series and this is just the first episode that you happen to catch, I started by saying your success and progress in this season's and future seasons hinges. Listen, it is imperative. It is greatly impacted by the quality and the health of your relationships. We were created to thrive in community. And you can't be in a community if it's just you. So, Pat, let me bring it back to you. Let me bring it back to you.
I love the caption there, nurture and protect, right? Mm-hmm. And the messiness of relationships, because I have a true best friend. She calls me, they introduced me to speak at her birthday party recently. And it was like her, what did she say? I was like her, not road dog, but it was something like that, right? Like her. I don't know what that term is, but it was something. I was like, oh, that must be me. So, because we have shared life together for sure, and we've traveled together, and we've done programs together and workshops together, and all of that. But just to cap off the remainder of those roles is you definitely want to have a accountability buddy. So someone who is moving in the direction that you are, who just has dreams and goals and desires and things of that nature that you two can set some consistency around. Again, right? I'm on this track, you're on this track, and it doesn't have to be competition at all. It's cooperation, if you will. You're collaborating, if you will. So we talked about role models. So you definitely want to have a coach in some capacity. I would say one of your first coaches, a life coach, because we are talking about your life, significant life. Janice is definitely a extraordinary facilitator of life personified. All there is life. So Janice is an extraordinary life coach for sure. And so someone like Janice on your team, I think I said HR leader, and then your spiritual leader. You definitely want to have someone who is covering you from a spiritual perspective. And this is not a religious perspective. This is a spiritual perspective. I often say, if you don't have somebody in your corner who has at least 3 scriptures that they can throw, listen, they can't pray for you. You ain't got nobody that can pray for you. I mean, really go through to the throne of grace for you on your behalf. You are missing that is a critical role that must be filled. So that is my, as a life coach, as a leadership strategist, that's my action. Look in your life and see who you have that can be a spiritual advocate for you. because you need somebody, when you can't pray for yourself, you need somebody praying for you. When you can't think of one scripture, even though you got your Bible in your hand and that ain't the right one. No, that ain't the right one. You need somebody that you can say, you know what, I'm dealing with this. What can you show me, share with me a word, a real word that's going to give me life today? You need that person.
I love it. I love it, Pat. You've been amazing. I want to recap those roles one more time for everyone who was listening. And if you got caught up anytime in this broadcast, as I did, I got completely caught up, crying and everything. Had to put myself on mute, praise God, to clean my nose. But thank you, Pat. So let me just go ahead and go over one more time. She said, for our PEP squad, one of the things Pat said, and I want us to be mindful of this, is she said, we are playing the long game. Ladies, those who are in the Significant Life community know I am notorious for letting you know this is not homework, this is life work. So you don't need to rush this so you can say, oh, I did this because Janice assigned this to me. No, this is for your life. And so when you do your life work, it may take some days, it may take some weeks, it may take some years to cultivate these things, but I am consistently at whatever frequency is necessary for me to sustain this and to reap the maximum benefit from it. That's what consistency is in my eyes. The frequency that will allow you to sustain it and reap maximum benefit. I don't know why I can't get it out. That is what's consistent. And so for me, it's imperative that we are mindful that this is our life that we're talking about. We're not rushing through this. And so I love that Pat gave us action, an action step, a life action to take. And so these are the roles that she identified for us that we need on our PEP squad. Number one, you need to be chief cheerleader and advocate of your life. Number two, role models. Number three, a mentor. And number four, a sponsor. And Pat made it clear that they are not the same person. And she's going to tell us the distinction between the two of them on April 30th. Number five, allies. Number six, an accountability buddy. Number seven, a coach. Number eight, a spiritual leader. Did I get them all? Oh, no. Number nine, an HR professional, which you're going to have to talk to us about that when it comes to our personal life, because I don't know how it relates in our personal life. And for those of us who are entrepreneurs, where do we find that? So those are the 9 roles we're going to explore in deeper detail when Pat joins us again. Pat, I got 3 things I'm going to ask you, but the first thing is, what are your parting words for us? What do you want to leave us with?
So I want to reiterate something that you shared, and then just drop one more thing. Is when you think of leverage, you said, don't do this alone, right? We are designed to be in community. We are designed to be in circles, pods, somehow not doing life by ourselves. It's a very lonely consideration, right? If you are just doing it by yourself, and for so many, for single women and individuals who, and then for married women, there's some married women who feel like they're doing life by themselves too. I've heard the stories. Okay. So don't do this alone. Don't do this alone. So standing up, some aspect, taking your time of your professional board of advocates. And then the other thing I want to leave you with is that from my rich auntie, Carla Harris, is that relationship is the currency. Better than in FT, Bitcoin, stocks, any of that. It is the currency that keeps on going. So when you're building relationships that give you life, your life is full, your life is rich, and your life is prosperous. So that's what we want.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you so much. I took so many notes. As whoever's watching on YouTube, you guys know that I keep looking down because I was writing notes. Pat, thank you. So here's my question. It is totally significant to me, but it may not be significant to anyone else. What is your go-to lipstick?
Oh, wow. So my go-to lipstick, as you can see, pink is one of my signature colors. Mm-hmm. So it is, it's a MAC color. No, I'm sorry. It's actually a Revlon color. And which is so interesting, because, I have my Mac here. I'm a fan considerably, but this is called Candy Addict.
Our last guest, ladies, you remember our last guest? Her favorite lippy was a candy. It had candy in the front too. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
okay, and last question.
Yeah. So Mac, number 16, because how Revlon, they got numbers.
Okay.
Candy Addict. And this is it right here.
Okay, Candy Addict, number 16. And what's your favorite lash?
Oh, my favorite lash. Well, again, it used to be Mac, because Mac has amazing lashes, and I got my first pair for free because I bought a bunch of stuff. But and that's when I want to do the glue and everything else. But I would say the magnetic lashes that I wear now, and I don't have them on today. Girl, you know what? I'm gonna give y'all my little cheat code. It's some magnetic lashes that I bought from Amazon that everybody in my family said, I need you to just order those for me. And I did. If I had the minute, I would run and go get them. But and they're under like $20. So,
well, we need the link so we could drop it in here, because first of all, I didn't even know, Pat, because, I'm asking. So people who are listening to the audio, they don't get to see us. So they don't know what we look like, besides the glamour pictures that we put up in the photo. But I love lipstick and lashes, right? And neither one of us have lashes on today, right? I'm lip gloss and mascara. But I love a good magnetic lash. So I want to check out this one from Amazon. I will put it in the show notes. Thank you so much. So much, so much. Pat, you've been amazing. Thank you. I cannot wait for the 30th. This has been so enriching. And Pat is definitely one of my allies. Listen, I have one of the things she just mailed me all out the blue. I was like, wait a minute, Pat, what's that? Thank you, girl. So she has definitely been an ally in my life in so many ways. I said at the top of our call that I'd let her know that she didn't know when we met somewhere between 2009 and 2011 at a mastermind event in LA, that I was going through a rough time. I was in a very toxic marriage, and it was the last that I had to make it to that event. So to sign up for that mastermind and to then go to the event, that was all the money that I had. But I was betting on Janice, and I was going to show up. Wasn't glamorous at all. I didn't have a stylist. I didn't have extra hair. I had to do my own hair, pick my own clothes. The stuff, I look back at the pictures, things were oversized. I'm like, Lord, I was barely making it, but I was excited and I was hopeful and I was there. And as one of the few brown faces in that room, because there were not many of us, you were very warm. You were very welcoming. You never made me feel less than. You never looked down on me. I didn't have my messaging locked in yet and wasn't quite sure what I was going to do, but I knew I had a business and I wanted to invest in myself. And Pat, you were so encouraging. And unfortunately, there were other women in the room who were not. And all throughout the whole time as I've been journeying through this journey of building a brand and building a business and discovering who Janice is as a woman, and then being brave enough to just put myself out there whatever way that I was, you always found a way to encourage me. You would post on my posts, I see you, Janice. And you would see me and my accountability partner out somewhere, and I'd post a picture and you'd be like, good, I'm glad to see y'all together. Like, you were always being our pep squad. And I was like, Pat barely knows me, but she's supporting me from afar. And I want to say thank you. I noticed every single comment, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you.
Well, you are welcome. Absolutely. Because I see you.
You do.
It doesn't matter what, how, when, where. I see you. And that's my favorite line from Avatar. I see you. Because it literally makes the biggest connection I think that we can on the planet, to be seen and to be heard. Don't get me started. Don't you trying.
I'm not.
But I'm just going to receive that and say you are so welcome, and thank you. Thank you for who you're being. Thank you for who you're being for your community. Thank you for who you're being for the world, because it is global transformation.
Amen.
Global transformation. Absolutely.
I receive it. Well, Pat, thank you so much for today. I appreciate you. Ladies, if you have not reserved your spot, look on the screen for those of you who are watching live, and you can find out how you can register to join us. Make plans to join us on April 30th at 11 a.m. Eastern, from 11 to 5, for our Significant Life Masterclass, where we are going to learn how to create and cultivate life-giving relationships. Y'all, this is going to be amazing. And so head over to mysignificantlife.org/masterclass, mysignificantlife.org/masterclass, and reserve your spot. And remember, for every lady that registers, you get to bring a girlfriend for free. I will see you ladies on the 30th. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Significant Life Podcast. I'll see you next time.